Here's a reminder, the news does not end here. Here's what's coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus. Right now at 6 a.m., a mixture of rain, sleet, and snow blanketing parts of North Carolina this morning. We are live inside the Chevy Storm Tractor to show you what to expect on your morning commute.
Here in Boone, where people are waking up to a wintry mix, snow, ice, and rain in the area. We'll have a look at how the roadways are doing coming up.
As temperatures fall, Gastonia's warming center is filling up.
They come in, they get hot chocolate, coffee, snacks. We have non-perishable food items that we're able to get out.
Why organizers say they can't keep up without your help. Cold weather is moving in, and what you wear could make all the difference.
How to dress smart and stay warm all winter long. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. A lot of you will be dealing with wet roads this morning. It's not raining super heavily, but the slick road conditions are causing a lot of our accidents right now. We have some cleared accidents on Independence Boulevard, but still a lot of backups. So just a heads up there.
All right, let's get to it. We are under a WCNC weather impact alert for your morning commute. Those rainy conditions will impact those area roadways. Thankfully, we have above freezing temperatures around the area. Up in the mountains, a little cooler. Throughout the rest of the day today, though, gradually clearing skies. Really, most of us will be nice and dry by about 9, 10 o'clock. And then this weekend, 40s with mainly cloudy skies.
Get through this morning and looks like things will be improving.
Yes.
All right. Make sure you join us.
15 minutes on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m. All right, live pictures over King Street this morning where, folks, we're seeing a wet, sort of nasty morning commute no matter where you live, from the mountains down here to the metro. It is not a pretty morning out there, so we are weather impact alert. And parents, listen up. Today's weather has some schools changing their schedules. Take a look at your screen. We've been updating this throughout the morning, adding on to it. Avery, Burke, Caldwell, Catawba, Hickory, Idaho, Statesville, Newton, Conover, Watauga, all on a 2-hour delay. And then Alexander and Ashe counties are remote learning this morning. Thanks for streaming with us right now at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We aren't going to waste your time this morning. We're going to get right to our forecast. Let's find out the latest from meteorologist Majestic Storm.
Good morning, everyone. Today is a WCNC weather impact alert day, and it's not because everyone is going to get winter weather. Honestly, most of us were just waking up to some rainy conditions. Bottom line, the weather is impactful for that Friday morning commute. Here's our satellite and radar. So big picture perspective, you can see we have rain across the Carolinas. We have snow this morning in Virginia, and when I'm zoomed out like this, I like to see what's downstream, how much more moisture is on the way. And as you can see, it's not a whole lot. So honestly, at this point, I think the worst of it is behind us. However, we are still watching for the impacts out on those roads this morning. Once we zoom it in, I want to show you all that snow up there in Virginia. This is really where it's been cranked up this morning. Meanwhile, back home across our area this morning, I've been keeping a close eye on temperatures, because when you're talking about winter weather, it's all about temperatures, timing, how much moisture we have out there. It's 43 degrees in Charlotte. We will not drop below freezing today, and it's not just us staying above freezing, it's most areas. Once you hit I-40 and head north of that area, then you could see cooler air, but at this point we're also dealing with dry air, and when you have dry air, well, you don't get any snow. 29 degrees there in Jefferson. National Weather Service still has us in place, though. This is a winter weather advisory that they issue. Ashe, Watauga, Avery, parts of Caldwell and Burke County, you'll be under that. This is still where right now it's cold. It's below freezing. We had moisture move in overnight, still this morning, so some of those roads could still be slick and icy in spots. Now across Charlotte, that's not what we're seeing. It's really going to be focused here in the mountains. This is King Street out there in Boone. You can see roads are wet, but as we've been talking about this morning on WCNC, NCDOT has been out treating those roads. So if they wouldn't have been doing that, likely this could have been a sheet of ice, because temperatures are cold enough. You have the moisture on the ground, but because they have done that, conditions actually not looking too bad. Notice the roofs, though. We do have some frosty conditions up there. Walker earlier was saying there was some sleet out there in Boone, and we're again still seeing that. Whatever falls is going to stay that way for a while there in Boone, because temperatures are still below freezing. 30 degrees in Boone, 29 in Jefferson, 43 again here in Charlotte. This is out there at Beach Mountain, where we're also dealing with some fog. So make sure you're mindful that if you do encounter any fog this morning, slow it down, especially if you're in the mountains, because that fog can actually freeze out on those area roadways. Quick check of the rest of our day today, just active this morning with, again, mainly scattered cold rain, and then by mid-morning, early afternoon, we should be good to go. All right, we're going to send things over to Richard. Good morning, Richard. He's in our Chevy Storm Tracker. Give us an update. Where are you at? What are you seeing? Has there been any trouble spots?
Yeah, good morning to you, Majestic. Good Friday morning, everyone. Let's just get off of me, let you see what I'm looking at. Wet roads right now as we cross the bridge heading north on I-77, heading toward Mooresville. Basically, what we can tell you now is we've seen a lot of slick spots on the road, a lot of pooling on the road. So folks, when you get out on the roads this morning, as you make your way out, give yourself some extra time to drive. There's been a lot of spots where we've seen water collecting and pooling, but for the most part, we've seen drivers taking it slow. We know as the morning commute gets more underway, you'll see more folks on the road, less time between the cars. So if you can't give yourself as much time as possible, be very careful, because it's raining. And when it rains, you know we have these issues. Folks need to take their time and take it slow. Things are not as bad as we could have had, but so far the temperature is still above freezing. They dropped a few degrees over the last little bit since we last joined you, but so far so good. We're going to keep it like this. Roads are looking good, but that's not to say that every place we've been we haven't seen any trouble, but there have been some trouble spots. Whenever we get to that situation like this, it's always good to take it to the folks who know. One of the folks who knows right in the station. Destiny, how are the roads looking today?
Right now we're seeing a lot of what you're seeing, Richard, and that is wet roads, and especially as the morning commute starts to ramp up, we're seeing more traffic, stop and go traffic in some spots. So just make sure that you plan extra time, not just for the traffic we see this time of the morning, but also the conditions which are starting to cause several accidents. Wanted to go further north to see I-77 near Davidson here. You can see lots of red taillights from some stop and go traffic here on the southbound side. Northbound traffic looking fine though. And that's what we're seeing here. Mostly traffic moving well on our major roadways. But if you go again north of I-40, that's where we have foggy conditions, snow, ice, things like that. So the good news is a lot of our interstates are looking fine near Statesville, around near Hickory, Mooresville. We're doing great there. But we do have some Charlotte area accidents to talk about. So let's zoom in here. This is brand new, a pedestrian accident I'm following here on Old Pineville Road at East Woodlawn Road. Right now, the impact is very medium, not seeing any huge backups here, but obviously with a pedestrian accident, that's very serious. So we'll continue to monitor that. We had 2 accidents this morning on Independence Boulevard. They have cleared, but the backups have not stopped. So just be prepared for inbound traffic to be very congested this morning as you're headed towards Uptown from the east side of Charlotte. And then going out further east, this accident has been active for a while now. Southbound Sharon Amity Road before Central Avenue, the left through lane is blocked at this time, and you can see the traffic on Sharon Amity quite backed up there as well. And then if we go north, we have a little bit of a minor accident, not a huge impact here, Statesville Road at West W.T. Harris Boulevard, and then to the south, Westinghouse Boulevard at South Tryon Street. Take it easy out there.
Destiny, thanks. Well, we've been checking with Majestic throughout the morning, and we know you're probably wondering about power outages, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a serious issue in some of this precipitation we're seeing. We've got our eyes on the Duke Energy map just to be careful, just to be safe. As of last check, they're up to 11 outages, so honestly nothing too serious, but here are some pointers just in case you lose power this morning or honestly any time during the winter season. Close your doors to avoid wasting heat. That's an obvious one. Also close blinds or curtains to lock in some of the heat. Stuff towels underneath cracks and doors. Wear loose-fitting, lightweight, warm clothes. And finally, eat and drink to give your body the energy it needs and avoid alcohol and caffeine. Temperatures in the 40s right now across the Charlotte area right now, but by next week we'll be back to below freezing temperatures, and Gasonia's Warming Center is gearing up to welcome those who need it. The center opens from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m., but only when weather is 32 degrees and below. So right now it's in the 40s in Gastonia, so not necessarily today. With more cold weather in the forecast, though, organizers calling on folks to step up and volunteer. This year, the shelter moved from the Salvation Army to Unity Baptist Church just outside of downtown Gastonia. Workers there say the number of people walking through their doors has climbed so far this season and that they really need help.
I think we have a total of probably a little over 50 volunteers that have signed up to work, but there is a need. We have 3 shifts in place. We spread them out.
If you'd like to volunteer, we have information on how to sign up inside the WCNC Charlotte news app. Speaking of weather impacts, you're taking a live look right now at the situation over at Charlotte Douglas this morning. Nothing too serious, 7 delays to speak of. So if you're headed to Charlotte Douglas, heads up, but doesn't look too bad.
7:09, and right now CMPD is working to track down the suspect in a deadly shooting outside of a recreation center. Take a look. This was the scene yesterday morning near the Tuckasegee Rec Center in West Charlotte. Authorities are urging anyone with information about what happened to come forward. This morning, a man accused of killing 2 people in Union County is expected to face a judge. Adam Mercado is charged in the deaths of Matthew Moody and James Wallace. Both were found in a Monroe apartment last month. Mercado is also charged in a separate homicide that happened just hours earlier in East Charlotte. Also this morning, Union County school leaders are deciding how to move forward after 2 teachers were injured when a student attacked them. It happened late Thursday morning at Parkwood High School in Monroe. Rumors circulated that the teachers were stabbed, but the sheriff's office says that's not true. However, deputies did confirm both teachers were hurt. A school resource officer was able to intervene quickly, and the student was taken into custody. The officer and the district are now reviewing disciplinary action.
7:10 right now. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were planted in Washington, D.C., and an arrest has finally been made. Coming up, what investigators are saying. $7:13 right now on WCNC Plus. Take a look at your screen. Live pictures right now from our Chevy Storm Tracker this morning. And this is what you face as you head out the door this morning. You can see some rain hitting the windshield, perhaps some slick roads out there, especially north of I-40. You might get a winter mix out there. So heads up there. Coming up in just a few minutes, Destiny's going to break down how it could impact your morning commute.
This morning, the man accused of planting pipe bombs outside the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters in Washington more than 5 years ago is under arrest. Attorney General Pam Bondi says new evidence led them to 30-year-old Brian Cole of Virginia. NBC's Tracy Wilkins is in Washington with what we know about the suspect's motive.
On the eve of January 6, 2021, hours before rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, pipe bombs were discovered outside the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters in Washington, D.C. Images of the person suspected of the crime were shared by investigators, then nothing more for years.
4 years, 10 months, and 28 days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC. And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability.
30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia, is facing multiple charges connected to placing the pipe bombs, including transporting an explosive device and attempting malicious destruction.
Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen.
Thursday, investigators were seen at Cole's home in Woodbridge, 30 miles outside of D.C., where he lived with his mother and relatives. Family declined comment to NBC News. A motive in the alleged crime is still unclear. The FBI said Cole was charged after a fresh look at his credit card and cell phone records and revisiting local stores where the bomb-making materials were purchased.
Let me be clear. There was no new tip. There was no new witness. Just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team.
During the announcement, officials appointed under the Trump administration laid blame for the delay in the arrest with the Biden administration, saying it failed to prioritize the case.
Today's arrest happened because the Trump administration has made this case a priority.
According to prosecutors, this case involved millions of pieces of evidence and data, including reviewing things like the tennis shoe brand that the suspect wore and commonalities in who purchased the bomb-making materials. Janine Pirro, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, called the arrest a huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack. In Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins, NBC News.
The national Christmas tree is shining brightly this morning in Washington, D.C. President Trump and the First Lady marking the annual holiday tradition of lighting the tree.
The president taking time to honor the 2 National Guard members shot near the White House last week. He spoke about his conversations with the family of the surviving Guardsman, Andrew Wolf.
Got hit hard defending us, and I just want to pay my respects to them. 2 incredible people, unbelievable people. I spoke with the parents and met the parents today, met the parents of Andrew, and they have spirit and they love our country so much you wouldn't believe.
Wolf remains in serious condition, but West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey says he is showing positive signs of recovery. Great news there. The Pentagon has confirmed another deadly strike on an alleged drug boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 4 people. Officials claim the boat was tied to a terrorist group and carrying drugs along a known trafficking route. This is at least the 22nd strike since President Trump took office.
A CDC vaccine panel has delayed a key vote on when babies should get the hepatitis B shot. That decision will now come this morning. It follows a tense meeting that was filled with some conflict. At issue is whether newborns should get the vaccine right away, even if their mother tests negative or if her status is unknown. Some advisors say more data is needed on dosage and timing. The panel was appointed by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine skeptic, raising questions about its motives. Vaccinating all newborns has been recommended since 1991, and infections in children have dropped by 99% since then.
South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace wants additional measures in place to reduce the amount of fraud when it comes to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, often called SNAP.
That's right. She's introducing the Food Assistance Integrity and Responsibility Act to bring accountability to the program.
There are real people that have real needs. And I do believe with the amount of SNAP debit card fraud that we see in this country, state by state, we could actually probably give more benefits to the most vulnerable by cleaning up the fraud and preventing it.
Mace says there were more than $100 million in stolen benefits during the first quarter of this year. The legislation calls for anybody seeking SNAP benefits to show a photo ID to make sure they only qualify to accept those benefits. You'd also need a photo ID to use the SNAP card as well. Mace says there will be protections for the most vulnerable individuals like those with disabilities or minors.
Well, we are weather impact alert this morning, but let me just tell you, this system moved in very fast and it's already really starting to break apart. So the worst of it, it's already out of the area. We're going to have the very latest details and the timing of the rest of this moisture moving in, coming in after the break. All right, we're heading into our Friday, and it is still a little messy out there this morning. We've issued a WCNC weather impact alert because of a system that's been pushing into our area since late last night, early this morning, bringing with it mainly just cold rain. But some areas, especially north of I-40, you've actually received a bit of a wintry mix. Right now, it is 43 degrees right here in Charlotte. You can't even see the Queen City because we also are dealing with fog. Now, here's something very important to know. We're not expecting any snow in Charlotte, but a big reason why is because these temperatures, they're going to stay above freezing for the metro area. It's a little different story for areas north. We'll get to that, but I want to show you another one of our live cameras. Maybe you're just waking up, turning on the stream, wondering if your neighborhood's going to get some snow. And honestly, most areas will not. And that's been the forecast this whole time, and it really hasn't changed a lot. This is out there in Lylesville where you can hardly see a thing, but still some raindrops popping up on the camera. Satellite and radar looks like this. Whenever I'm looking at this big picture perspective, I always like to see what's coming our way still. So looking downstream, and you can see this rain, it's really breaking apart by this point. And this system, it moved in fast last night, and it's really moving out nicely this morning. Once we zoom it in, you can see the bulk of the rain already out of our area. Snow showers, though, off to Virginia. You can see widespread snow, so perhaps you were traveling this way to the north today. That's where really the bulk of the snow is. Once we switch it over to our impact radar, you can see areas north of I-40. You've been my watch spot all morning long, and at this point we do have cold enough temperatures for our mountain counties. However, we really don't have much moisture. Perhaps a little bit of stray flurries right there in Ashe County, and then we've seen some reports of some sleet as well, but besides that, we're not seeing widespread winter impacts, and that's exactly what we've been forecasting. But we've decided to issue this weather impact alert day because area roadways are wet for your morning commute, and most of it, it's coming down as rain. Let's get a check on traffic to see how the weather is impacting the roads. Any accidents people need to know about this morning?
Yeah, we're definitely starting to see an increase of accidents this morning as the sun comes up as much as it can with this dreary weather. But we're looking at I-77 near Davidson this morning, and this is a lot of what we're seeing in the most congested areas. Slow traffic as people drive for conditions, and then a lot of wet roads. So just be very careful out there. Even if it's not raining hard, you still want to just be aware of the slickness out there. So this morning we are seeing just again north of I-40, that's where all of the ice is located, some foggy conditions as well. And then when we go into the Charlotte area, this is where we are seeing most of our congested areas. So I-85 northbound near Gaston County, again, the usual spots. Again, we are following this pedestrian accident very closely and some other incidents around our area. We'll get another check of traffic in a little bit.
Destiny, thanks so much. The WCNC Charlotte Magical Toy Drive continues, folks. Of course, thanks to all of you who've donated so far. And we are looking ahead to other ways that you can help make a difference. Tomorrow, you can take your donation to the Belk at Carolina Place Mall. We're going to be there from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Come out, drop off your toy, meet the WCNC Charlotte team. Or you can take your toy to Carowinds. If you're heading out to Carowinds tomorrow, you'll get a single-use fast lane pass for free with your donation. Also, if you want to find out about more ways to donate, just scan that QR code you see on the right side of your screen.
All right, approaching 7:25 right now as we take a live look right now out at the roads via our Chevy Storm Tracker right now. You can see windshield wipers going strong. Also just looks overall foggy and cloudy out there, so visibility might be an issue for some folks. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good Friday morning, everyone. Today's a WCNC weather impact alert day, at least throughout the morning time. We know those scattered rain showers, a little bit of sleet and possible snowflakes impacting people's morning commute. Here in Charlotte, no snow in the forecast. Cold temperatures and drying out by the afternoon. Here's our satellite and radar, and really by this point, the worst of it is already behind us. By the afternoon, though, we're looking at cloudy skies, chilly temperatures, and as we're looking at our impact radar, it's important to know that we stay above freezing today here in Charlotte, so no winter weather impacts for us. We have seen some of that wintry mix right along I-40 and especially north of it. This is a live camera, though, coming in from Boone. Good morning to you. NCDOT has done a really good job with treating those roads, so really conditions aren't bad. Grab those layers as you're heading out the door today and watch for fog as well. Destiny, how are the roads? Any impacts out there?
Yeah, it's definitely the wet weather that is causing some people to get into accidents this morning. This is mostly what you'll see around our area. I-77 near Davidson just shows slow traffic here. And then again, a lot of ponding and wetness on the road. So just take extra care this morning. Zooming out this camera here, you can see most of the congestion is in the Charlotte area, but north of I-40 is where it gets really slick.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. We are weather impact alert this morning for a messy morning commute once again. Majestic joins us right now with breaking down a look at things depending on where you live.
Good morning, everyone. That's exactly right. We've issued this because we know that we've had this system pushing through the Carolinas, and we know that really we're expecting mainly rain, but it's just impacting people's morning commute. Now, in the mountains, this is where things have gotten a little bit tricky because temperatures are colder, and we have had reports of some sleet, some snowflakes, and some rain out there. So be careful as you're heading out the door. This is here in Blowing Rock. At this point, a lot of dry air has taken over, so we don't have more precipitation coming at this point. And just be careful across those sidewalks if you are traveling this morning. But we've been mentioning how NCDOT has been treating those mountain roads this morning, and that makes a huge difference because if they weren't doing that, likely this would be very, very icy because we have those chilly temperatures in place. Let's take a look at those current temperatures. If you are waking up in Charlotte, 43 degrees. Very important, we're not going to drop below freezing today. Now, it's going to be kind of an ugly day, but temperatures only rise into the 40s, and they're going to get a little warmer than where we are now. Now, up in the mountains, this is where it is actually below freezing. So if there was moisture on the ground from last night or early this morning, that's where we could have some dicey spots. Satellite and radar right here. Here's our big picture perspective. So you can see scattered rain showers pushing in across the south. Once we look to the north, that's where we do have more wide widespread snow across Virginia. And at this point, it's very clear that this system moved in fast last night, and it's already starting to really push out of our area this morning. So the worst conditions, especially across the Charlotte metro area, they're already out of here. Once we switch it over to our radar, remember when we're talking about winter weather, it's very important to keep a close eye on those temperatures, especially if you're traveling. If you're traveling and you see those temperatures drop below freezing, be mindful that things could be freezing out on those roads. The precipitation could, especially over on ramps and off ramps, bridges, that sort of thing. Temperatures still above freezing, and we will stay above freezing from Gastonia to Rock Hill, Lancaster. No problems there. Once we hit I-40 and north, that's where temperatures start to get a little colder. But one thing we've really noticed is that dry air has taken over across our mountain counties. We need moisture in order for us to see the snow or the wintry mix. We have the cold air up there, but it's just very, very dry. Perhaps a few light snow flurries still lingering there in Jefferson, though. And then here's about 11 o'clock this morning. By this point, it's just cold, it's cloudy. It's one of those days where you want to just find a nice way to stay warm. Still seeing some rain chances mainly south of Charlotte at this point. And then heading into tonight, if you have plans for your Friday evening, maybe you're packing up the family, you're heading out to go look at some Christmas decorations, you won't have any problems in the forecast. It's just going to be cold, of course. And then Saturday, we start to see gradually clearing skies, and that'll take us into our Sunday as well. Last thing I want to touch on is this winter weather advisories. This is issued by the National Weather Service. It started last night at 7 o'clock, stays in place until 1 o'clock this afternoon for Ashwaubenon, Avery, parts of Caldwell and Burke counties. This is where it's tricky because we've had that wintry mix already last night, this morning, and this is exactly where temperatures are still below freezing. As far as more moisture moving in, it's not really likely. I mean, a few random snowflakes here and there, or maybe a little bit of sleet, that's going to be possible. But again, we're going to have our futurecast and your full weekend weather forecast coming up here soon. Guys.
All right, Majestic, thank you for that.
WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson joins us live from downtown Boone with what our viewers in the mountains need to know before they are heading out this morning. Walker.
Yeah, well, good morning, Lisa and Ben. As of right now, really just predominantly cold air. That is the big thing. We've seen that precipitation, as Majestic just mentioned, kind of dwindled down as we're seeing dry air move through, taking the system as it moves off the coast. Again, as we take a look behind me, we are seeing just some primarily wet roadways. Again, we've had a decent amount of people out and about on the roadways this morning. Now, a lot of the cars that are going by, we're seeing a dusting on the top of them. There's a dusting on grassy surfaces, but again, seeing a lot of snow plows out and about this morning. And NCDOT's done a really great job at treating these roadways and making sure that they are not seeing any of these significant impacts. Now, for a full look of your traffic in the area, let's head in studio with Destiny.
Thank you so much, Walker. Definitely great that it's not, a crazy situation out there where you're at, but we are definitely seeing just a lot of wetness everywhere. So the impact is definitely there if you're on the highways this morning. We're seeing I-77 near Davidson, slow traffic still, and this is what we're seeing for most areas that are getting that morning commute congestion, people moving slowly and driving for conditions. That's the way to be. Most of the congestion we're seeing is in the Charlotte area. I-40 has been looking great all morning. Of course, north of I-40, just be careful of those icy slick spots. Now let's move to the Charlotte area where we have most of our accidents this morning. We're still following a pedestrian accident at Old Pineville Road at East Woodlawn Road. A little bit of a medium traffic jam right there as you are in the right lane of Old Pineville Road heading northbound towards Woodlawn, but nothing major right now. Of course, we'll try to get an update on what's going on. Southbound Sharon Amity Road before Central Avenue, still very much a traffic jam here on southbound Sharon Amity Road approaching Central Avenue. So just a heads up there for those in East Charlotte. Going further south, this is new. Southbound Providence Road at the Arboretum Shopping Center Drive. This is right lane blocked here from this situation. As you can see, emergency crews there on scene, and the traffic jam there is really impacting the entire intersection. So not just those roads. And then moving a little bit west, southbound South Boulevard at Hebron Street, we have the right lane blocked from an accident there. This one's fairly old though, so I think the traffic jam is clearing up just a little bit, so not too bad. Here are your AM drive times heading into the Charlotte area. It's a bit heavy coming in from Matthews and Belmont.
Destiny, thanks so much for that. 7:36 now. As Destiny said, thankfully things aren't too crazy out there. We aren't dealing with black ice situations, but we do have some helpful information for you because there may be some slick spots as you head out, especially those of you who are north of I-40, because things like that can form on the road, and it's normally prevalent at night, but may be around in the morning. So if you have the ability to wait just a little bit longer before you head out today, you might want to do that. Now, if you have to spend the majority of your day outside, we have some tips from the National Weather Service on how you should dress to brace the freezing temperatures. Make sure that you are wearing a hat or a hood or even both. You might want to include a face mask and some gloves, a coat, and at least 3 layers on your body, 2 layers on your legs, and of course, don't forget your waterproof boots.
7:37 right now. One person fighting serious injuries after being hit by a car. Medic tells us the crash happened last night on East Independence Boulevard. CMPD hasn't shared any further details. Gaston County authorities warning folks about a phone scam after a local subway got duped. County prosecutors say someone impersonating an FBI agent through a phone scam stole from the store on West Franklin Boulevard in Bessemer City. They're urging folks to be vigilant for any potential scammers who ask you for a gift card or to move any money over the phone. If they ask that, hang up immediately and contact local police.
A heads up for some big impacts to public transit. Next weekend, service will be suspended on both the gold and the blue lines of the light rail. Now, this is for maintenance. The entire gold line and the southern part of the blue line will shut down around 2:30 Saturday morning. And the northern half of the blue line is going to stop service around 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And this is next weekend, folks. Both lines will reopen the following Monday.
U.S. companies cutting jobs at the fastest pace in years. Coming up, why the labor market is showing new signs of strain.
And another live look from our Chevy Storm Tracker this morning. You can still see those wet conditions as you make your way out on this Friday morning. We'll have the latest coming up in just a couple of minutes here on WCNC Plus. Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus. It's now 7:41. Jobless claims fell sharply during the shortened Thanksgiving week. It's a drop of 27,000 from the week before, though holiday weeks often see dips. Continuing claims fell by 4,000 to just above 1.9 million for the week that ended November 22nd. Jobless claims are expected to continue dipping in December. However, U.S. employers are still cutting jobs at the fastest pace this year since the pandemic. A new report shows layoffs remain high as companies restructure and adjust to new technologies like artificial intelligence. Tariffs and shifting economic conditions are also adding pressure. November's total was lower than October's record of 153,000 job cuts, but still part of a year that has seen more than 1 million jobs lost. While those jobless claims fell, experts warn the overall labor market is showing signs of a strain.
Have you ever wondered how many billionaires exist around the globe? Well, Thursday, Swiss investment bank UBS released its annual Billionaire Ambitions report. They found the combined wealth of billionaires worldwide reached a record high this year. There were more than 2,900 billionaires on April 4th. Their combined wealth reached nearly $16 trillion, which was a 13% increase from last year. The United States had the largest number of billionaires, followed by China. There's good news from Army veteran in his 80s who's still working full time to make ends meet. Tom Yamas explains how the internet is rallying to help him retire.
Just seeing if I could have help scanning this. Thank you. What was your name?
Ed. 88-year-old Ed Bambus clocks into his grocery store job 5 days a week.
I'm 88. And still working?
Yes, I have to. The Army veteran worked for General Motors, but says his pension was wiped out when the company went bankrupt back in 2012.
The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick, and when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage. I sold the house, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
His story catching the attention of Australian influencer Sam Wiedenhofer.
I'd like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire.
Well, thank you.
This moment going viral. More than 8 million people have viewed the video on TikTok alone. Users commenting saying things like, "He's our grandpa now. We must do better for our veterans." And "Let's retire this sweet man." In the video, Sam gives Ed a $400 tip.
It goes a long way to help me.
But what Ed doesn't know is that the internet has stepped up in a big way, raising more than $1.5 million for this veteran. Ed's son Mike working on a plan to surprise him with the life-changing money.
Does your dad have any idea how much money was raised?
No, he is totally in the dark on how much there is. You hear a lot of bad out there in the world, but there's a lot of good too.
The kindness of thousands of strangers coming together, rallying to help one man retire.
Tom Yamas reporting for us there. 7:45 right now on the dot. Let's go back to live pictures from our Chevy Storm Tracker, folks. This is north of I-40 on I-77 up in Yadkin County, so go north of Statesville. That gives you some indication of where our crew is right now, even as we speak. And we can see the roads out there wet. In some cases, they are slick, especially an issue as you head north of I-40. Down here in Charlotte area, it's really just rain. Otherwise, up north, you could encounter more than just rain when it comes to your morning commute.
Ahead here on WCNC Plus, a Today in History lesson. A legend was born this day. Coming up, we're going to share how his magic still draws millions worldwide.
Good morning, everyone. It is cold, it is ugly out there, and we still have some scattered rain showers continuing to fall. Right now in Charlotte, it's 43 degrees. Typically, you should be able to see the skyline, but you can't. We have those low-lying clouds, really just foggy conditions, limiting down visibility. Want to take you up into the mountains because this is where temperatures are still below freezing, but at this point, we don't have any moisture to work with, so we don't have any precipitation falling. You can see this is out there on King Street there in Boone. We have had reports of some sleet, some light snowfall this morning, but really none of it has been severe, and that's exactly what we've been forecasting and getting you ready for. It's just more of an inconvenience. That's why we are a weather alert. It's also rainy right here in Concord. It is rainy, and we did have a little bit of mountain snow this morning. Live camera look coming in from App Ski Mountain. Not a ton of snow, though. Want to show you our satellite and radar, really what we're watching at this point. So really the bulk of the system by this point, it's east of us. Downstream, this is all still the moisture that's heading our direction, and it's really just scattered rain showers at this point. To the north of us, that's where we do have that widespread snow, really across Virginia. You can see it shaded in that blue there, but really for us, we are still watching those temperatures, and I think we'll still have little bursts here and there of rain showers, maybe a random snowflake or two up in the higher elevations. We have the cold temperatures that we need up there in the mountains, but again, we have been taken over by dry air, and dry air means we don't have any moisture to make any precipitation. So it is dry at this point right now for areas north of I-40. Still watch for some slick and icy spots though, because we have had moisture, and again, temperatures into the upper 20s at this point, so you could see some freezing conditions out on those roads. But we have mentioned that NCDOT has done a really good job in the mountain communities, and they've been treating the roads, so we haven't had any big problems this morning. Again, most of us, we are above freezing right around the Charlotte metro area, and we are not going to drop below freezing. So if you're just waking up, you're starting your Friday, you're turning on the stream wondering, are we getting snow in Charlotte? The answer is no, not this time at least. Still watching I-40 and north of it over the next couple of hours for that mixture of rain, snow, and sleet. And of course, that's where those temperatures will be a little bit colder, waking up to below freezing temperatures. So let's walk you through the rest of your Friday. By 11 o'clock this morning, we are dry in the mountains, the foothills, even across the Charlotte metro area. No more problems throughout the remainder of our Friday. Rain showers still linger from Lancaster, Wadesboro, out towards Cheraw, and then we push that rain away by the second half of our Friday. It is just cold and cloudy. So if you have plans for your Friday night, here's 5 o'clock. I mean, you're definitely going to want some layers, but you won't need your rain gear. No wintry weather expected. Even in the mountains, you should see those temperatures rise above freezing today. At this point, we're not quite there, but our overall highs across our entire viewing area should stay above freezing. Hourly rain chances, this is for Charlotte again, going to taper off quickly. I mean, we don't have a lot more left throughout the rest of the day. Cloudy and cool. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about your weekend weather forecast, what other impacts we'll be looking at, and how cold is also going to be this weekend. Let's send things over to Destiny. Let's get a check on those roads. Any new big accidents that people need to know about right now?
Yeah, mostly in the Charlotte area within the I-485 loop. But again, continuing to look at cameras really across our area. It's just damp, it's dreary out there, it's wet. Just make sure you drive slowly, but we're not seeing any ice again in Mecklenburg County in the Charlotte area. I-77 near Cornelius here, and this is what it looks like across most of our cameras. Again, closer to Charlotte. North of north of I-40, that's where you're gonna see the ice, even some fog out there. So just be aware, things are great on the interstates, but it might be side roads, it could be less traveled, arterials where you will start to see a lot of those conditions start to get dicey out there, or they've already been dicey out there. Moving into the Charlotte area, these are our accidents we're following this morning. A pedestrian accident at Old Pineville Road at East Woodlawn Road, still ongoing right now, but it looks like the traffic jam is starting to alleviate a bit. This is our most impactful accident right now at this time. This is near the Arboretum Shopping Center, southbound Providence Road at Arboretum Shopping Center Drive. The right lane is blocked. This is going to affect people who are traveling inbound on Providence Road. A lot of people do that. It's really impacting the entire intersection. So just a heads up there, and we'll have some more traffic updates for you coming up a little later in the show.
7:53 right now. The WCNC Charlotte Magical Toy Drive continues. And folks, come see us tomorrow. Bring a toy to the Belk at the Carolina Place from 8 a.m. till 2 and meet the WCNC Charlotte team. If you're busy though, you can always take it over to Carowinds where you'll get a single-use fast lane pass for free. None of those work? Hey, we still got your back. Scan that QR code on your screen to learn all the other ways you can help out. Well, folks, it is the 124th birthday of Walt Disney, the legend who forever changed the entertainment world. His imagination built an empire of movies, theme parks, you name it, that still inspire families to this day.
Disney parks around the world carry on his vision of magic and storytelling. Walt Disney World in Florida is the most visited theme park on Earth, drawing millions each year. More than a century later, Disney's impact on culture and creativity remains unmatched.
Never been, still to this day.
I can't believe that.
Never been.
You went this year, yes.
Yeah, back in April. It's still so magical.
It really
Everybody
is
says that.
the happiest place on earth. It's so much fun.
Ben, you're not the only one.
You've
Oh,
not been
good.
either.
I've been to Disneyland, but not
Okay.
Never
That's
been
where
there
I want to
either.
go. I've never been to Disneyland.
Okay.
Same.
It's magical no matter how old you are, from like little kids to grandmas and grandpas and parents too. My mom has never been, and like she needs to go and experience it because you can't even explain it to somebody who's never been before.
It's so much fun.
Missing out.
Yeah.
Make up for
We're
it.
gonna
Why
work on
haven't
that.
you?
Right.
Why haven't you gone?
Just hasn't been a priority. I mean, if
He
I'm
says
being
it how it
honest,
is.
Yeah.
if I'm being
It's
honest,
like, is Ben going to the beach or is
All
he going to
day.
Disney
Right.
World?
you know the answer to that. Although I'm sure it is a lovely place.
really is
I do
fun.
need to go. I'm sure it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
All right, folks, live pictures right now from our Chevy Storm camera this morning. Here's a look at what you're facing as you head out the door. You can see it's foggy, it's cloudy, it's rainy. Really, no matter where you live, this is what you're going to face. North of 40, it gets a little dicier. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good Friday morning, everyone. Today we do have a WCNC weather impact alert morning. We've been watching a system pushing through our area. It has brought some wintry weather up towards the mountains, some snow, some sleet, and yes, some rain. You can still see some of that snow on some of those cars there that's out there in Boone. For us, though, here in Charlotte and surrounding areas, it's been all about the rain, and that's exactly what we've been forecasting, and we are not anticipating any winter weather. Temperatures are just too warm, and really, most of the moisture is already out of our area. We're at 39 degrees in Concord, 38 in Lincolnton. Boone, good morning. It's 29 degrees, so still watch for those slick and icy spots, mainly right along I-40 and north of it. We're dry this afternoon, but daytime highs will be chilly with low 40s this weekend. Mainly cloudy and cold as well, which is small rain chances Saturday morning. Destiny.
Good morning. Just like Majestic said, it's really north of I-40 that you'll see those icy, slick spots, so heads up there. But most of our congestion is on the interstates closer to Charlotte. One of the biggest accidents we're following this morning is a pedestrian accident, Old Pineville Road at East Woodlawn Road, and then heads up in the South Charlotte area near the Arboretum Shopping Center. Big accident at the intersection.
All right, parents, heads up. Today's weather has some schools changing their schedules. Take a look at your screen. This list has been growing and evolving over the course of the last 4 hours. So as it stands right now at 8 a.m., Avery, Burke, Caldwell, Catawba, Hickory, Iredell Statesville, Newton Conover, and Watauga schools are all on a 2-hour delay. Hopefully at this point you already knew this because it is 8 a.m. Alexander and Ashe counties, remote learning. Thanks for joining us right now. Streaming live at 8 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We're going to get an update on your forecast on this Friday morning. Of course, because of that system that's moving through, we are weather impact alert today. Let's get the latest from Majestic.
Everyone, we've been following this for you really for the last couple of days, preparing you for those impacts that we were expecting and anticipating this morning, and we got exactly just that. Want to start with this out there in Blowing Rock. Good morning to anyone waking up and joining us there in the mountains. You can see a little bit of snow out on those roofs, grassy surfaces. We've seen a mix of snow, rain, and even some reports of sleet. Conditions are still not the best as far as it being cold and cloudy. It's not the most beautiful day, but I will say temperatures in the mountains, they're still below freezing. However, a lot of the roads have been treated, so we're not seeing a lot of slick and icy roads out on those primary roads. But if you live in a mountain county and you live out in the rural area, or if you take those back roads, make sure you're just driving with caution, because while we don't have any more moisture pushing through at this time, meaning it's not raining, it's not snowing, temperatures for those higher elevations, they are below freezing. So if there was moisture on the ground earlier, there's a good chance that things have kind of froze over for you this morning. Meanwhile, if you're just waking up and joining us here in Charlotte or say Rock Hill surrounding areas, no, it's not going to snow today. I mean, we are not even getting close to that, and that's what we've been trying to really get across over the last couple of days, that those impacts have really been mainly north of I-40. Here's our satellite and radar. You can see the bulk of the rain, it's already out of our area. Downstream, we still have some scattered showers heading our direction, but for the most part, the worst of it is all said and done. This system, it moved in early this morning, late last night and early this morning, and now it's quickly moving out. You can see to the north of us, that's where that snow has really ramped up for our friends out there in Virginia. Switching it back over to radar now, notice a couple of things. We don't have a lot of rain on radar popping up anymore. Out towards Lancaster, Chester, good morning. You do have rain currently, but at least temperatures are above that freezing mark, 43, 44, 45 degrees. And then once we're looking up towards the mountains, really from Hickory, Morganton, Boone, Jefferson, we have cooler temperatures, especially out towards Ashe, Watauga, Avery counties, but we don't have the moisture. Dry air has really taken over, and sometimes we see that with wintry conditions like this. Dry air means we're not getting any more moisture. You can see this is going to be about 11 o'clock this morning. Rain showers south of Charlotte, so from Lancaster, Cheraw, Wadesboro, still some lasting impacts, but then really by the afternoon, it is just fine. If you have any plans for your Friday, the second half of the day, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cloudy, but no wintry weather on the way. We'll stay under winter weather advisories until 1 o'clock this afternoon for our mountain communities. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'm going to talk about the rest of our weekend forecast and everything else you need to be ready for. For now, though, I'm going to send things over to Richard. Good morning, Richard. He's in our Chevy WCNC Storm Tracker. Where are you and what are you seeing this morning?
We're in Yadkin right now, Elkin, excuse me, and it's Surrey County heading south on 21. Let me show you exactly what the roads are looking like. We've traveled north a bit, going to jump on 77 in a little bit. Actually, we're going to do that now, get on Interstate 77. We've been seeing the roads just wet. That's it. You know, pooling in certain areas, but the roads are drivable. No major incidents that we've passed as we've driven. The highways shape, just people needing to slow down this morning as they go. Now, I just lost my my earpiece, so I can't hear you guys, but I'm just going to talk for a few more minutes and then I'll give it over to Destiny. But the most important thing to do is know that the roads are, if you're going to get on them, just give yourself a little extra time as you make your way out and about this morning when you're driving. Of course, give lots of time between you and another car in case you have to suddenly brake or something of that nature. Now, further into Charlotte, we saw very little problem, just a lot of rain. So people were taking it slow this morning, but that's not to say there weren't some incidents on the road. We did see a number of incidents on the road, and for a better perspective of what's happening a little bit closer to home, we're going to send it to Destiny Richards, who always has all the answers for us as far as how the roads are looking out there. Destiny, good morning. Good Friday morning to you, Destiny.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Richard, for being our eyes on the road. And this is our eye from above I-77 near Cornelius this morning. Looking like a lot of the same from what Richard showed further up north. Wet roads, slick conditions in terms of the wetness on the road. So you definitely don't want to be speeding out there. You want to drive for the conditions. And then, of course, areas that aren't on the highway, but maybe on some side roads, you could encounter some of that ice, especially if you're north of I-40. So just be careful there. Most of our congestion this morning is in the Charlotte area, so let's zoom on in and see what we're dealing with. Still an ongoing pedestrian accident on the map. Old Pineville Road at East Woodlawn Road. Have not been seeing huge backups here, so it's likely that the scene has been worked, but it's still just on the map at this time. So just be prepared for that, especially if it's a serious situation where emergency crews are still on scene. This is a big accident affecting the intersection at southbound Providence Road at Arboretum Shopping Center Drive this morning. It is affecting the intersection in terms of not just one road, but traffic going northbound on Providence, as well as eastbound here on Arboretum Shopping Center Drive. Following a lot of other incidents, but this one's just nearby that I want to talk about, Pineville Matthews Road at Alexander Road. So there's a lot of adjacent accidents too in the area that are causing backup. So when you're finding a detour, just plan for that.
8:06 right now here on WCNC Plus. Temperatures really in the 40s right now, but by next week we'll be back to below freezing temperatures, and Gastoni's Warming Center is gearing up to welcome those who are going to need it. The center opens from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m., but only when the weather is 32 degrees and below. So that's not us right now. With more cold weather in the forecast, organizers are calling on folks to step up and volunteer. This year, the shelter moved from the Salvation Army to Unity Baptist Church just outside of downtown Gastonia. Center workers say the number of people walking through their door has climbed so far this season, and they desperately need help.
I think we have a total of probably a little over 50 volunteers that have signed up to work, but there is a need. We have 3 shifts in place. We spread them out.
If you'd like to volunteer, we have information how to sign up right now inside the WCNC Charlotte News app. Speaking of weather impacts, take a look right now. Here's the situation over at Charlotte Douglas. Nothing too serious, folks, to be quite honest with you. Right now, 7 delays, but other than that, only 3 cancellations.
8:08 and CMPD is working to track down the suspect in a deadly shooting outside of a recreation center. This was the scene yesterday morning near the Tuckasegee Rec Center in West Charlotte. Authorities are urging anyone with information about what happened to come forward. This morning, a man accused of killing 2 people in Union County is expected to face a judge. Adam Mercado is charged in the deaths of Matthew Moody and James Wallace. Both were found in a Monroe apartment last month. Mercado is also charged in a separate homicide that happened just hours earlier in East Charlotte. Also this morning, Union County school leaders are deciding how to move forward after 2 teachers were injured when a student attacked them. It happened late Thursday morning at Parkwood High School in Monroe. Rumors circulated the teachers were stabbed, but the sheriff's office says that's not true. However, deputies did confirm both teachers were hurt. A school resource officer was able to intervene quickly and the student was taken into custody. The officer and the district are now reviewing the disciplinary action.
Well, today, the last chance for parents to submit their applications for CMS's School Choice Lottery. It gives your child a chance to enroll in specialized programs within CMS like early college, as well as math and science specialization. Again, the application period closes tonight. Now to some more education headlines. North Carolina getting national recognition for its advanced learning programs. The State Department of Public Instruction announcing it is joining a new national research center. The center will expand education for high-achieving students and serve as a hub for research, innovation, and policy development. Johns Hopkins leading the project with funds from the U.S. Department of Education.
The WCNC Charlotte Magical Toy Drive continues. Of course, thanks to all of you who've donated so far. And looking ahead, there are more opportunities for you to help make a difference. Maybe you haven't donated yet. Tomorrow, you can take your donation to the Belk at Carolina Place Mall. Our team's going to be there from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Drop off your toy there. Or maybe you're going to Carowinds tomorrow. You can take it there and get a single-use fast lane pass for free with your donation. To find out more about how you can donate, just scan that QR code you see on the right side of your screen.
8:10 right now. Back to our Chevy Storm Tracker live pictures right now. This is up at Highway 21 there, at northern part of our viewing area, perhaps just beyond it actually. Here's the situation as you head out the door this morning. Just a heads up because it's messy, honestly, no matter where you live. We're going to be speaking with folks from Caldwell County coming up in just a few minutes right here on WCNC Plus. As we had a break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, our team is always testing products. We only bring you the best, and this one is about your security, so you're going to want to listen up. The product is this. It's called Sight Bulb, and it's called that for good reason. It plugs into any light fixture. See that right there? Like a light bulb, and you have an instant security camera. There's a break-in in the U.S. every 26 seconds. Lights are great, but a security camera catches the bad guys in the act. Look at this video. You just plug it in outside to any fixture. You have an instant security camera with night vision, 360-degree views, motion sensing. It even has a built-in microphone, so you can listen to what's going on in your house when you're not there, and also talk if the bad guys are in there, or if you just want to kind of watch your dog just hanging out, right? So I have one plugged in right over here as well, just to show you how this works. There's an SD card right in it, so it's all made in the USA, no things going up to the cloud. It's all stored right here. And come on in for a second, Bob. I want to show you. It connects to your app, so you can actually watch it anywhere. My cameraman Bob is here. Can you? That's what you see right on the app. Say hi, Bob. There you go. There's your hands. So this retails for $49.99 to $59.99, but we have a great deal for you today. 25% off. Think about the cost of home security. And by the way, no professional needed, no wiring. You screw this in and you're done. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen right now or go to shoptvdeals.com.
At the top of the hour, we showed you the list of school districts that are either delayed or learning remotely today because of the weather conditions. Among those is Caldwell County.
Right now, Paige Counts, the public information officer there for Caldwell County, joins us now live. Paige, thanks for taking time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so give us an idea. Hopefully you have a window nearby, or perhaps you drove in this morning, or you've been out. Give me an idea of what the conditions are like there in Caldwell County.
For most of Caldwell County, the roads are just wet.
Well, that is good to know. As we say, it's not the huge wintry mix that we were anticipating, but smart decision to have the kids delayed there because you just want to be extra careful when you have those school buses and people heading out. Talk about the preparations. You know, we're expecting that there could have been a wintry mix up in Caldwell County. How did your crews prepare? Were any of those roads treated in advance?
Well, the county doesn't treat roads, but we did treat all of our facilities. Our ambulances are always prepared for winter weather so that we're ready to respond in case of weather. It's, always a good idea to be prepared.
Always a good idea to be prepared, no matter what, because you might get something that we might not get down here in the Charlotte area. So even though snow ice isn't new for your public works crews, are there any specific challenges that you all face once we get into December, January, and February?
Well, Caldwell County expands in elevation more than any county in the state. So what's happening in the northern part of our county is not necessarily happening in the southern part of our county, because if you're up closer to Boone, Blowing Rock, you're getting more of that Watauga County weather where, in the other end of our county, it could just be rain. So I always say to be prepared when it's cold like this. Temperature changes and you could hit ice at any time.
That's right. And for folks who are wondering where Caldwell County is, maybe you're new to the area, you don't know. We're talking north of I-40, where we typically see more of that sort of wintry mix there. What's it like for you, Paige? I know being the county's public information officer, what does that mean for you?
It just means I get to talk to good folks like you.
There you go.
And, make sure I'm in touch with our emergency management to hear calls. And so far, overnight and this morning, we've not had any weather-related calls, which is a very good thing.
Good to know. Good to know. And to Paige's point, I mean, in Caldwell County, you go from Lenore on 321 north of that, and it's almost all vertical after that point. So I can completely understand how your crews and some of your colleagues face very different circumstances depending on where you might be within the county. All right, Paige Counts with the Caldwell County Public Information Office. Paige, thanks so much. We appreciate it, and fingers crossed things stay okay up there.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking to us.
All right, 8:17 right now on WCNC Plus. Let's go back to the Chevy Storm Tracker. We'll go back to them coming up in just a second, but first a break here on WCNC Plus. 8:19, continuing our coverage right now. A weather impact forecast out there. Live pictures from our Chevy Storm Tracker. This is south on I-77, north of Statesville, however. So gives you an idea of what you might be facing if you're headed out, whether you are there near Statesville or you are down here in Charlotte, over to Hickory or parts in between. Likely you're facing some precipitation this morning. Mainly what we're hearing, though, is just cold rain out there. Perhaps the worst kind of rain in my view, but not as dangerous as some of the other kinds of precipitation we sometimes get here in the winter in the Carolinas. So continuing coverage all morning long right here on WCNC Plus.
All right, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Good morning, everyone. We are WCNC Weather Impact Alert this morning because we've been following this system. It moved in last night and it moved in really rather fast. It's basically out of our area, so the worst of it's already over. But we do still have some impacts because temperatures right along I-40 and north of that are still a little chilly, so we have some impacts there. For us here in Charlotte, 41 degrees. You can't even see the Queen City because we're also dealing with some fog out there. Another live camera, this one here at Apsky Mountain. Low visibility, a little bit of new snow, but really not a whole lot. Here in Boone, we do have some mist and drizzle out there. In addition to that, temperatures still remaining below freezing, so just make sure you're mindful as you are traveling that some of those roads up in the mountains and really just up in the high country could be a little slick at times. It's 29 degrees right now in Boone and Jefferson. Morganton, it's 37, 36 in Hickory. And again, it's very important to note that here in Charlotte, we will not see those temperatures drop below freezing. Today, it is just rainy, cloudy, and cool. Dry air is a big part of our weather story this morning. Looking at our dew points, I mean, when you have them in the 20s, that means the dry air is really firmly in place. So we don't have any more precipitation really moving across the mountains, at least not seeing any of that widespread or heavy precipitation. Really, I think we saw the worst of it overnight, early this morning, and then since then it's all been kind of tapering off slowly but surely. One thing to also keep in mind is that visibility is low all across the area. Fog has really started to develop from Statesville to Hickory, right along I-40 there. Thankfully for those two spots, temperatures are still above freezing, but up towards Jefferson, less than a mile of visibility, and that's where we have below freezing temperatures. And when you combine the two, fog can actually freeze onto area surfaces. So be careful again if you're encountering some fog. Most of us again look like this. It's just cloudy. It is dreary out there and rain showers. They're still scattered, but as we zoom it on in, you can see we're not done with it, but at this point it's definitely not widespread by any means. Snow showers staying up to the north of us right now, but I do want to show you exactly what's going on in the mountains and along I-40 because that's kind of been our watch spot today. As of now, the cold temperatures still in the mountains, still in place, but it is very dry. We don't have any more moisture that we're working with. Few light scattered showers from Morganton to Hickory if you're traveling this morning. Otherwise, we'll have a full look at my hour-by-hour forecast, plus what you need to be ready for this weekend. Destiny, how are the roads? Any big changes?
We're really just seeing those wet road conditions across our area. I-77 at I-277 here near Uptown. Just wanted to bring it closer to home once again. But everything looks pretty much the same in terms of our road conditions, and all of our accidents from this morning have been localized to the Charlotte area. So you just really want to drive for those wet conditions, even though the rain is not actively falling anymore. Again, just want to give a warning out about the icy conditions that may still be existing north of I-40 as well. That's a wider view of what things look like right now. This accident is cleared at last. Southbound Providence Road at Arboretum Shopping Center Drive. Still some impacts though to the intersection, so just be aware that even though it's cleared, it's still causing issues. This adjacent crash, Pineville Matthews Road at Alexander Road, is still causing issues as well, and it's still an active crash. We'll send it to Larry.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. It's a Friday, and it's a Christmas festival like no other. In fact, let's talk about what to do this weekend. Not too far away is Rock Hill's Christmasville Festival this weekend. In fact, Rock Hill becomes Christmasville. Now through Sunday, 70 events and activities. Great food. There's caroling, there's tours, a gingerbread house, a real ice skating rink, art displays, and yes, Santa. You can't go without Santa. Don't miss it. It happens this weekend. Rock Hill, South Carolina, as it becomes Christmasville. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
All right, Larry, thanks so much. Well, here is a live look. You see the John Belk there and I-77 underneath. And just look, guys, I mean, it's Friday. That's the great thing. But my goodness, what a messy, kind of yucky start to the Friday morning. Hopefully you are doing well. Again, allow yourself extra time if you're going to be heading out this morning. We'll have more coming up in just a few moments here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good Friday morning, everyone. Today is a WCNC weather impact alert morning. We've been watching for kind of that wintry mix right along I-40 and north of it. We did get some early this morning, and by this point, around the Charlotte metro area, some lingering rain showers, but the worst of it, it is really over by this point. Temperature is still chilly up in the mountains, below freezing still, and then right around Charlotte and surrounding areas, we do not expect any winter weather whatsoever today. Temperatures, yeah, they're going to be cold, but they will not drop below freezing. Highs today only about 41 degrees in Charlotte, 44 in Chester, right around those mid-30s up towards Boone and Jefferson. Throughout the rest of the day today, we'll look for gradually clearing as we're looking at those rain showers, but the clouds, well, they're going to stick around. There's that Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. A cold weekend ahead with cloudy skies, highs mainly into the upper 40s. Destiny.
This morning, it is cold and it is wet on the roads. Just be aware this morning that even though the rain's not falling, you may not have your windshield wipers on. Just prepare for those slick, wet conditions. This is what our traffic map looks like right now. Most of our congestion and accidents are localized to the Charlotte area. We have an accident on Pineville Matthews Road at Alexander Road causing the most issues right now.
Thanks for streaming live at 8:30 on this Friday morning here on WCNC Plus. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. A WCNC weather impact alert in effect for you this morning. The impacts mainly come to your morning commute because it's really messy no matter where you are, Majestic.
We've been just watching really the impacts across our whole viewing area. We knew a system was on the way, and we knew simply put that this was going to impact your morning commute no matter really where you were traveling. We knew it wasn't all going to come down as wintry weather, but up in the mountains, we did have a mix of rain, snow, even pellets of sleet. You can see this is a live camera look coming in from Blowing Rock. At this point, we don't have any more of that snow or sleet coming down, but it is still cold up there, mainly up in the mountains. The high country, we're seeing upper 20s, low to mid 30s. It's 29 degrees in Jefferson and Boone. And if you're just waking up and turning on the stream here in Charlotte and you're wondering, is it going to snow today? Bottom line, no, it is not going to snow today here in Charlotte. Temperatures will stay above the freezing mark. And really the bulk of the rain, it moved in overnight early this morning. It moved in fast, and really it's already starting to break apart really nicely. We're not done with it yet. We have overcast skies, cold temperatures, foggy conditions, and we are still seeing kind of that mist and drizzle out there. Once we head up to the north out there in Virginia, this is where the snow has been coming down this morning. Switching it over now to our impact radar, you can see I paused time, and when we're working with winter weather, it's always very important to keep a close eye on those temperatures. Still staying above freezing. Again, we will stay above freezing for most of us. 41 here in Charlotte, 45 in Lancaster, colder up in the mountains, but I wanted to zoom in here. This is south of Charlotte from Lancaster out towards Chester, even through Sherrod. This is where we kind of have a burst of rain starting to pass through the area. So you can see those little areas shaded in yellow there. That's where the rain could be coming down a bit more intensely at times. But once you head north of Charlotte, especially north of I-40 here, we have cold enough temperatures. I mean, we're seeing upper 20s, but we don't have any moisture. That dry air has really taken over, and at this point maybe a little bit of mist or drizzle up towards those higher elevations, but again things are gradually clearing out. Here's about 11 o'clock this morning. Could still see that rain to the south of Charlotte, but then throughout the rest of our Friday we don't have any problems. So if you have plans for your Friday afternoon, maybe plans for your Friday night, no more winter weather, no more rain. Yes, it'll be cold, so if you're packing up the family, maybe you're heading out to McAdenville to go look at those Christmas lights, just pack on those layers. Live camera look again coming in from Boone, where we have seen a little bit of sleet and a couple of snowflakes. Beach Mountain, look at this, extremely foggy this morning, limited visibility for so many places around our viewing area. And it doesn't just reduce down visibility, but here's the thing, those higher elevations, you are socked in with that fog, and that's also where we still have those below freezing temperatures. So below freezing temperatures, dense fog, you add it together, and that fog can actually freeze onto surfaces. So if you're traveling this morning in Watauga, Avery, Ashe County, make sure you're paying attention to that, especially if you're traveling over any bridges, on ramps, off ramps. Those places could be a little dicey at times. There's that weather impact alert forecast for Charlotte. Notice those rain chances really going down throughout the rest of the morning, and then this afternoon, you guys, it is going to be cloudy and cold and pretty mild conditions heading into the weekend.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson is live this morning in downtown Boone with what people are seeing there.
Yeah, well, good morning, guys. We are we saw a mixed bag out here earlier today. We saw some rain, sleet, snow, as well as some freezing rain, because we've seen some people out here trying to scrape their cars, and it's taken a while to get that sheet of ice off. So give yourself a little bit of time before heading out the door this morning if you're headed out to work or to school, again, to get that extra moment. But taking a look at the roadways behind me, we are seeing good conditions out here. NCDOT has done a fantastic job of pre-treating these roads, making sure that they are as drivable as possible. Of course, we did have more of that mixed bag, as Majestic mentioned earlier. We had a lot of dry air coming in, so didn't see the snow that maybe everyone was hoping. Here's what NCDOT says, though, about their response to this winter weather.
The area that's about to be affected by this winter storm already has crews working 24 hours a day. They're working in 12-hour shifts, and each county has at least a dozen, 15, and sometimes up to 40, 45 different trucks working. Now, of course, all that's based on the county size and the force that we have in each county that's appropriate for the road mile.
Well, of course, give yourself a little bit of extra time as you're headed out the door this morning. Here in downtown Boone, roads are primarily just wet. Again, not seeing any frozen surfaces where we are now. For a full look of traffic and what we're seeing out there, we're going to head in studio to Destiny.
All right, thank you so much, Walker, for your eyes on the ground out there in the mountains. Here back at home, things are just really wet out there. Again, you may not have your windshield wipers on, but just be prepared for those slick conditions. The bridge here on I-277 is looking shiny, but likely not ice at all, just wet roads. And then traffic is starting to move slowly because we are in that peak morning commute time. One accident I didn't get to talk about earlier was this one, not causing a huge amount of issues, but still lingering. I-277 outer loop at South Clarkston Street backed up to I-77, so exit 1 on I-277 here. And then just nearby, I-77 going southbound near Uptown, still very congested. So if you're coming from the north part of town, just a heads up there. It's really bad just in both directions on I-77, but likely not due to the weather, mostly just people headed to work or wherever they're going. This is a fairly new accident, Billy Graham Parkway southbound at West Boulevard. We are definitely seeing that backup there between intersections on Billy Graham Parkway here. So as you're approaching West Boulevard, just be prepared that you will deal with some backups there. Going now to the other side of town, this has been lingering for a while. Pineville Matthews Road at Alexander Road. I will say though, the accident impact here is starting to lessen a bit. It's going down to a medium impact. There was a nearby accident near the Arboretum Shopping Center. That one has cleared, so this has been just kind of a messy area for a while now. Looking at the wider Charlotte area, again, you won't be dealing with a lot of rain, and all of that ice and fog and those nasty conditions are north of I-40. So just really take it slow, give yourself plenty of time. That is the name of the game this morning. I'll send it to the studio.
All right, Destiny, thanks so much. Again, as you said, fortunately, we're just having a lot of wet, cold rain this morning, and we aren't having black ice. But just something to think about. Something like black ice can form at any time. And while it's normally more prevalent at night, it can still be around in the morning. Like this is a morning system happening for us. So if you can allow yourself a little longer time to head out, make sure that you do that. And if you have to spend the majority of your day outside, we do have some tips from the National Weather Service on how you should dress to brace the cold temperatures. Make sure that you're wearing a warm hat or a hood or both. You might want to also include a face mask and some gloves, and at least 3 layers on your body, 2 on your legs, and don't forget your waterproof boots.
All right, live pictures right now from our Chevy Storm Cam right now at 8:37, 8:38 right now. These are some live pictures right now of the roads. This is I-70 southbound in the Statesville area. As you recall, that sort of I-40 corridor is really the line of demarcation we've been following throughout the morning to see if they might get some other things besides just rain. So far, it seems like out there things are wet, but that's just about it. But we're going to keep our eye on the situation throughout the day right here on WCNC+. Families heading out to pick that perfect Christmas tree, but could the ride home turn into a holiday hazard? We'll explain next.
8:41 now. A lot of families are picking out their Christmas tree for the holiday season, but getting it home isn't always easy. Listen to this. A recent AAA study shows that nearly 1 in 5 Christmas tree buyers reported their tree either fell off or out of their vehicle while they were bringing it home. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg shares how you can prevent this from happening.
AAA urging people to be extra cautious when bringing home their Christmas tree. Tiffany Wright with AAA says making sure it's secure can make a big difference.
Trees are they become projectiles and they can be quite dangerous. I mean, it doesn't even matter what size tree that you're transporting. They can all be dangerous.
Not having it secured properly can also damage your car or someone else's.
They really become just huge debris in the road, causing people to swerve, which can lead to a chain reaction. It can cause, quite the pileup.
Artificial trees in large boxes can also be a concern when bringing it home. When it comes to the best way to secure your tree, planning ahead can make a big difference.
If you know that you're going to be buying your tree, make sure that you have all the proper equipment, whether that be bungee cords, rope, whatever you need to secure your tree.
If you don't have the right equipment, make sure the place where you're buying your tree does and allows you to take it with you. Megan Bragg, WCNC Charlotte.
Davidson's annual Christmas in the Town Center is expected to draw thousands, and it's running through tomorrow. At the heart of the celebration is the Giving Trees. Every tree display raises money for different organizations and charities. It has become one of Davidson's most meaningful holiday traditions. Town leaders say the Giving Trees are a reminder that while Davidson shines brightly during the holidays, it's the community's commitment to looking out for one another that makes the season so special. The National Christmas Tree in Washington, D.C. is glowing brightly. President Trump began the countdown to the lighting of the tree on the ellipse. Joined by First Lady Melania Trump, she flipped the switch to illuminate that 35-foot spruce. The national tree is a tradition for more than 100 years. It's adorned with thousands of lights and unique decorations, all made by Americans representing every state, territory, and, of course, the District of Columbia.
Tonight, this beautiful evergreen tree glows bright on the dark and cold winter night and reminds us of the words of Gospel of John, "In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind." Beautiful words.
The president also paid respects to the 2 National Guard members who were shot near the White House last week, one of whom died. That national tree will be on display throughout the holiday season in the nation's capital. All right, another live look right now from our Chevy Storm Tracker, Richard Devane. I tell you, he and his photographer have been all over the area today, showing us the road conditions this morning. Cold and wet, as you can see. Windshield wiper still going. Right now, they're on I-77 southbound in the Statesville area. Again, we see the conditions out there. We're going to check in with Majestic and Destiny momentarily to get an update on what we can expect for the rest of the day. Every generation has its own secret code of words. We're going to give you some better tips on how to understand the younger generations. We're talking about what the kids say. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone. We are heading into our Friday morning, and let me tell you, yeah, we're weather impact alert, but it is not pretty out there. As far as the actual weather goes and how it's impacting our morning commute, we do still have some impacts out there, but the bulk of the system is already pushing past our area. Really, it moved in fast overnight, and it started to really move out fast this morning. Again, we are still weather impact alert because some of those rain showers, the ponding out on those roads, they will still impact that morning commute. And we did see some wintry weather, a mix of rain, snow, sleet, areas north of I-40. So you may still encounter some of that. This is our satellite and radar now. You can see the snow pushing up to the north. This is really where we have had widespread snow out in Virginia. Let's bring it on home to the mountains because this has been pretty steady through most of the morning. Cold temperatures, definitely cold enough, upper 20s, low 30s, so below freezing. But we have really been taken over by dry air, so we don't have the moisture. So right now, if you're in the mountains, you're dry. It's just very cold and very slick for some of those roads where you did have that moisture on the ground because it possibly could have refroze on those untreated area roadways. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, if you're just waking up and tuning in, wondering if it's going to snow today, it's not. It never was going to. Really, those wintry impacts were only going to be up to the northwest, mainly just north of I-40. We're seeing another little batch of rain starting to push in well south of Charlotte from Chester to Lancaster out toward Cheraw. We're seeing light to moderate rain, so if you're traveling on these area roadways, again, our daytime highs, even our current temperatures now, they will remain above freezing, so no wintry weather, no slick roads there. It could become a bit slick because of the rain, but not because of any freezing conditions. Once we head into the later half of our Friday, here's 5 o'clock this afternoon, this evening, it's going to be cold and cloudy. Temperatures into the 30s and low 40s. No more rain, though. So if you have plans for your Friday night, maybe you're doing something fun with the family or you're just heading out in the town, grab the layers. You'll want to keep them handy. We stay cold, but we do stay dry. Heading into Saturday morning, here's 7 o'clock in the morning, we'll be waking up to 30s and low 40s, so another chilly start to the day. Cloudy in the morning, but then gradually clearing out by late in the evening on Saturday. This is for today, though, what you can expect throughout the rest of our Friday morning and early afternoon. Weather impact alert this morning because of those conditions out on those roads. But a lot of the rain, it's again tapering off by this point, and it's going to be out of our area by this afternoon. High temperatures into the 30s and low 40s, 44 for Monroe today, 46 in Lancaster. And honestly, a lot of the rain is going to come to an end, I'd say, by mid-morning. If you're south of Charlotte, it just might take a little longer to actually completely move out. There's the Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. Stay close to our weather team. We are weather impact alert through the first half of our Friday. And then by the afternoon, again, a high of only 41 degrees. Our average high is 57, so well below that. Saturday and Sunday, cloudy skies, cold early morning temperatures, and then again, highs only into the 40s. It seems like our next really frosty morning will be on Tuesday, with lows dipping down into the 20s and highs only reaching those mid-40s. All right, Destiny, let's get a check on those roads.
Good morning. We've seen some accidents disappear, but others are popping up in its place. So just be aware this morning that the traffic congestion has not let up. We still have accidents, not a bunch of widespread ones causing a bunch of issues because thankfully we just got rain, but just make sure to drive for conditions this morning. You can see it's still very shiny and wet on the roads this morning. No ice or anything like that, but you want to drive for those wet conditions. They still can cause issues. This is our most recent crash this morning. Or this is not the recent crash, but we will talk about one on Mallard Creek Road this morning that is causing a couple of issues. We do have a crash though on Billy Graham Parkway, both directions between Mooresfield Road and West Boulevard. This is causing a lot of issues. It was in both directions, but now it seems to just be affecting southbound traffic at this time. So just be aware of that. We're also following a new crash, Rama Road South at McNair Road, very close to Monroe Road, and we'll have another update for you coming up a little later.
Destiny, thanks. 8:52 now. The WCNC Charlotte Magical Toy Drive continues. We want to thank all of you who have donated so far. We really appreciate your donations and your generosity. Looking ahead to some other opportunities, maybe you haven't had a chance yet to donate. Tomorrow, you can take your toy to the Belk at Carolina Place Mall. We'll be there from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Come out, bring your toy, meet the WCNC Charlotte team, or maybe you are heading out to Carowinds. You can take your toy there and you'll get a single-use fast lane pass tax-free with your donation. If you are looking for other ways to donate, just scan that QR code. You see it right there on the right side of your screen. Has lots of information. Well, every generation has lingo that is unique and defining to the times. Determining whether something is rad, lit, or low-key fire often depends upon the year you were born. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are the latest to throw clueless parents for a loop, mining much of their vocabulary from social media. Lee Waldman explains to us what the kids are saying.
Meme speak is taking over the chat,
Bro, I'm gonna crash out.
dominating the lexicon
6, 7.
and confusing grown-ups everywhere,
Chat, is this rich?
with one clear exception.
Mr. Lindsay back to define another word that your kids are using.
Middle school teacher Philip Lindsay's TikTok translations have gone viral, much like the word trends he helps to explain.
If something goes viral and it's a meme, you can expect to be hearing the kids saying it at some point, and then sometimes they even add meaning to it.
The trends can come from anything. 6'7", for example, is a lyric from a Skrilla song that morphed online after someone made an edit, then another person added a hand motion. Others are renewals of past fads like the word tough, spelled T-U-F-F, to mean cool.
If a kid walks in and says that my outfit is low-key tough, boom, I've nailed it, right?
It may sound like nonsense, but for kids, linguist Teresa Pratt says it's about finding their voice.
Young people innovate a lot with language, in part because that's a kind of socialized chapter of life where you're supposed to do creative things with your style.
Mr. Lindsay says try to speak the language, even if it's cringe.
Parents and teachers need some kind of bridge of conversation with their kids to joke about some of the words or some of the memes that then opens up to more meaningful conversation.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Okay, can I just say, as a parent of 2 Gen Alphas, so sick of 6'7". I'm so tired.
Do they really use it like
yes,
in real
do.
sentences and they're being serious?
They
not
look
just
for
messing with
any
you?
opportunity to see anything with the 6 beside the 7. 6, 7.
Do you do it back to them?
Sometimes.
Oh,
they
God.
I
They don't find
think
it cringy?
That's cringe when I do it for them, yes.
Yeah. I'll say while I don't get a lot of the new ones, or maybe
Right.
I understand it later after it's been explained,
Yes.
I understand that from the perspective of being a millennial who at the time we had that's lit and things like that maybe at the time our parents were like, what are you saying?
I just feel like it's so much now. There's just so many words. And so skibbity and Ohio and, Sigma, all the things. Those are probably
stick
old
with the
too.
basic.
Right, exactly.
Yes. If only it was that simple.
If only. Well, we have to take a quick break, but thanks so much for staying with us here on WCNC Plus. You're taking a look. I mean, this is what you're dealing with on the Friday, folks. This is the John Belk, of course. You see the traffic there on 77 moving a little bit slowly. We're going to have another update on your weather and traffic coming up in just a few minutes. And then at the top of the hour, we head into our live Impact News studio as our Weather Impact Alert Day continues. Keep it right here, WCNC Plus.
Good Friday morning, everyone. We are still WCNC Weather Impact Alert this morning because we have had scattered rain showers, a bit of a wintry mix for areas north of I-40, but right now it is gloomy and cold out there. Still seeing some scattered rain showers passing across the area. Notice temperatures, though, still above freezing, and they will remain above freezing for the Charlotte metro area. A little cooler up in the mountains, though. Daytime highs today rise back into only the 30s and low 40s. 40s, a high of 41 in Charlotte, 44 in Monroe. And throughout the rest of the day today, we'll see those rain showers continue to taper off, cloudy skies, and again, just an overall chilly afternoon. There's our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast this weekend, planned for 40s and cloudy skies. Chilly next week, but sunny skies will return. Destiny.
Good morning. It is definitely wet out there on the roads, not dealing with any snow or ice here in the Charlotte metro area, but you still want to drive for those slick, wet conditions. And we're still dealing with that congestion that we typically have this time of the morning. Nasty crash here in the intersection of Mallard Creek Road and Harris Boulevard. And then we do have a cleared crash now on Billy Graham Parkway both ways at West Boulevard, but still a bit of a backup there.